Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Veteran Mountain Man, and today we're going to do another cultural Marxist concept, and that is the use of the appeal to authority to stifle debate and discredit sources. So recently on Minds, I was having a discussion with an individual, and when I brought up that Karl Marx's theories were destructive to society, the person tried to shift the conversation that Karl Marx was just an economist. And this is something that I've been seeing more and more out of people who don't understand rhetoric at all. And the concept is actually known as the appeal to authority. It's a logical fallacy, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to discredit your source by stating that they had no standing in a particular field. Well, in Karl Marx's case, this is adamantly untrue. About 50 to 60% of his economic theory is also political theory, because Karl Marx was a huge supporter of the centralized planning concept of economy, and therefore espoused large, organized groups to manage the economy actively, as opposed to the passive economic management of Hayek economics, which is what we currently use as a primary in most of the world. However, we're getting off topic. The idea that your source is invalid simply because they say they are is part of this dystopic concept that the Marxist that you're debating with knows what's best for society, and therefore their sources have to be right. Even when you're quoting sources that they would normally use, they don't want to hear those segments from those sources. They instead only want to use what they feel is applicable, and only theirs are justifiable. And this realistically is an attempt at tyranny, because it's trying to manipulate the conversation in such a way that only their viewpoint gets to be seen. And so I'm going to remind all of my listeners out there, don't allow this to happen. Call them out when they do it. Address it directly. Explain to them why they're being disingenuous and why their rhetoric is faulty. Show them sources that completely contradict them. And then leave it at that. Because realistically, the only way we can win this argument is to continue to shine light on their argument. So we have to show them for what they are. And that is the only way to truly win any kind of debate, is to expose them. And the cultural Marxist push to stifle debate continuously, either through the use of ad homs at the speaker, or the appeal to authority to discredit the speaker, or the appeal to authority to discredit the speaker's sources, are all realistically disingenuous ways to try to stifle free speech and argument, and we need to stop letting them get away with it. I mean, it's straight out of the concept of rules for radicals. Many of the concepts that were in rules for radicals were ways to shut down free speech, including directly accusing your opponent of what you're doing. That is pretty much how many of these logical fallacies come across, and how many of them are actually integrated into the argument, is that you're being disingenuous because you're using this person, and this person was just a this. I mean, trying to call Karl Marx just an economist is like trying to call Thomas Jefferson just a plantation owner, or trying to call George Washington just a fisherman, or trying to call Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. just a civil rights activist. These people weren't just one aspect of their life or their history. They were individuals, and as an individual, they had many aspects to their personality. And this is part of the problem with identitarian politics in the way it's currently being used, is that people are isolated into these teeny tiny little groups, and they have to be just like the rest of the group. So when you put them in a group, they have to stay there, and they can't disagree with the group, and they must do exactly as the group tells them to do. That's not freedom. That is authoritarianism. You have to let it go. Well, for those of you wanting to know who it was that was having that debate with me, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not even going to discuss that individual's username, because I don't want that individual had a go at. Because while I disagree with that person's doctrine, they were polite, and we did have a very interesting discussion. It just so happens that the person doesn't understand how to actually have a conversation. Well, thank you all again for joining me. It is a lovely Sunday morning. I hope you all have a really good day. Please remember to like and subscribe if you like my content, or upvote and follow if you like my content, depending upon whether you're on YouTube or VidMe. Also, don't forget to visit me at Minds and my other social media platforms. The links are down below. Thank you all, and have yourselves a pleasant day.